Alright, so this is our wort, which is boiling. Actually, pretty darn good, actually. It's not, not so vigorous, but I'll take what I can get. Pretty soon here I'm going to pop in the ounce of hops. Check here, we've got, this came out to about 7.5 gallons. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. Yep, still at about 7.5. I want to get down to probably just around 5, I think. That's going to be a lot of boil. We do about probably about a gallon an hour, so this is going to be unfortunately boiling for about 2 hours. So we're going to let it do its thing. I can really add in the hops whenever, as long as they're boiling for an hour. And you can see kind of this garbage at the very top. That's the stuff that we want out of there. Bunch of proteins. Basically, boiling the wort makes a lot of proteins and tannins kind of coagulate together, and then you can filter them out of the beer. And what you're left with is what you actually want, which is something that's a little clearer and more clarified, and all those solids and leftover crap. We probably still have some husks and stuff from our not so efficient mash out, but that's okay. It'll add a little bit of something to the boil. We'll find out. Just something you got to kind of roll with, not cry over too much. We do want to make sure we hit our final gravity though, so we're going to boil this down quite a bit. Calculating mash efficiency. Not amazing, about 50%. I'd really like to be closer to about 70. That's really more typical for a home brewing setup. So I think a few factors kind of played into that. Things that I mentioned earlier, stuck sparge and that sort of thing, kind of wonky temperatures. So overall, I think we'll be fine. We're just going to boil off a fair amount of liquid and come back here in maybe about an hour and see how we're doing. And then at that point, I think I'll toss in the hops, let those go for about an hour, and then hopefully we'll get to chilling and fermenting this thing pretty soon. Brew day is taking a little bit longer than I expected, but that's okay. I have the whole day. I've got nothing else planned. So see you in a few, as soon as we are ready to toss in the hops, which incidentally I have actually right here. And I highly recommend this. I actually was thinking about grabbing a few of these. You've got enough stuff to contend with. You don't also want to have to worry about filtering out hop particles. These will absorb a fair amount of water, but this will keep them from going so much into your boil kettle that you got to worry about filtering those out. Especially if you have a number of spice additions and stuff. Like my last boil, I had about 3 different additions at different times of the boil. So these come in handy. I'll probably pick up maybe another 2 or 3 of these. If you're doing IPAs and stuff, you'll often have 3, maybe 4 additions sometimes of hops. But yeah, probably no more than that. But these come in handy, and I highly recommend them. Yep, we see our hydrometer here, which you might see. I don't know, you probably can't read that, but we're at about 1.030, I think, just 3031, something like that. And the temp's about 102, giving us about 1.03837, something like that. We want to be closer to 1.05, 55 or 59 ideally, which I think is doable. So these come in handy. They are indispensable, really, especially if you're wanting to try and recreate any of your recipes. It's a really amazing tool to have. You just can't do without one of those. So pretty happy about how this boil is going, and we'll check back in about an hour and see how we're doing.